So the study plan for your PMP exam that will actually work in 2025-2026 when the PMP exam is undergoing a transition from the PMBOK 7th edition to the PMBOK 8th edition. Let's get into it. You see guys, I have coached thousands of PMP aspirants over the past 5 to 6 years, and the pattern is crystal clear. Most of the candidates start their preparation with enthusiasm. They buy a few books, enroll in a course, maybe even start watching YouTube videos like this one. However, within the first 3 to 4 weeks, they are completely lost. They don't know what to study next, they are drowning in information, and worst of all, they have no idea whether they are actually ready for the exam or it's just a waste of time, okay? Now here is what makes this even more frustrating. The PMP exam in 2025 and 2026 is not the same exam from what it was 2 to 3 years back. The question patterns have evolved. Agile and hybrid questions now dominate nearly 60 to 70% of the exam, and PMI has introduced scenario-based questions that test your application skills, okay? Not just the memorization. And to top all of it, the exam is now all set to transition from the PMBOK 7th edition to the PMBOK 8th edition in early 2026. So in this video today, I'm going to give you a proven, systematic 4-phase study plan that works wonders if you apply it the right way. We will cover phase 1, which is smart resource planning, phase 2, efficient syllabus coverage, phase 3, strategic mock analysis, and phase 4, the final exam readiness. There will also be a free study plan template for you to download as part of this video, which you can customize based on your situation. So let's get started. Alright, let's start with phase 1, which is week 1 and week 2 of your exam preparation, smart resource planning. Now guys, this is where most PMP exam aspirants make their first critical mistake. They jump straight into buying textbooks and online courses without actually understanding what they are preparing for, right? So here is what you absolutely must do, okay? Number 1, understand the current PMP exam structure. The exam now in its PMBOK 7th edition format has 180 questions and you will get 230 minutes to complete it. That's roughly about 1 minute 17 seconds per question. The questions are distributed across 3 domains: people at 42%, process at 50%, and business environment at 8%, okay? However, here is the critical part. Approximately 50% of the exam contents covers agile and hybrid methodologies, while the other 50% cover predictive approaches. Also, about 70 to 80% of the questions are situational and scenario based, right? Not just definitions or memorization. This is a massive shift from 3 to 4 years back, okay? Number 2, you need to complete your 35 contact hours or PDUs required for your PMP exam eligibility. You need 35 hours of formal project management education before you can apply for the PMP exam. Now the good news is these contact hours, after you have received them, they are valid for 8 years. So they come with a fairly long expiry. You can choose self-paced online courses or instructor-led boot camps based on your learning style and budget. Now, if you are looking for a cost-effective, comprehensive, self-paced option, check out my 35 PDU PMP Exam Masterclass on Udemy. It covers PMBOK 7th edition, the Agile Practice Guide, and the Process Group Practice Guide. Exactly what you need for the current edition of the PMP exam. It has helped over thousands of students across over 50 countries to pass their PMP exam. You will find the link in the description section of this video. And finally, number 3, set a realistic study timeline. Most working professionals like us who are PMP exam aspirants, they need about 10 to 12 weeks of preparation if you can dedicate 2 to 3 hours on weekdays and roughly about 6 to 7 hours on the weekends. However, please do not book your exam date right at this stage of the exam preparation, okay? Only book the exam after completing phase 2 of your preparation, which we are going to discuss next, and we'll talk about the reasons why. But just to give you a glimpse, booking the exam too early creates unnecessary stress, which can be avoided during the initial phase of the exam, okay? So please plan accordingly. Now also note that by the mid of 2026, the PMP exam is all set to transition from the 7th edition to the 8th edition, okay? So it would be my advice that your goal would now to be buckle up and start preparing for the PMP exam as soon as possible, right? And get it cleared over the next 6 to 9 months as long as the exam is still in its 7th edition. Because the moment the exam transitions to the new version, there will be a lot of uncertainty around it, okay? Now, of course, I will be revising my PMP exam study materials on Udemy in line with the PMBOK 8th edition once that goes live, but that will definitely take some time, right? So please start preparing for your PMP exam from today. Now, assuming that you are still aiming to clear the PMP exam in its current 7th edition, let's move on to phase 2, which is week 3 to week 7 of your exam preparation, which focuses on efficient syllabus coverage. And this is where your actual learning happens. So you need to study 3 core resources for the PMP exam. Firstly, the process group practice guide, which has essentially replaced the PMBOK 6th edition about 3 to 4 years back. Second, you have the Agile practice guide for your hybrid and Agile related content. And thirdly, the PMBOK 7th edition, which covers the principles based on the PMBOK way of project management. So these 3 together form the complete foundation you need, okay? Now, here is my recommendation. Start with the process group practice guide to build your predictive project management base first, okay? Because that is absolutely essential. Then you move on to the Agile practice guide to understand Agile and hybrid frameworks. And finally, study the sections from the PMBOK 7th edition that aren't already covered in the first 2 guides. So this strategic sequence saves you time and prevents unnecessary repetition whilst you are preparing for the syllabus of the PMP exam. So as you study each chapter, create detailed summary notes, okay? Write down the most important concepts, frameworks, and takeaways. These summary notes will become your lifeline during the phase 4 of your exam preparation, which is right at the end of the exam preparation, where your focus will be on revision, okay, rather than studying something new. So do not rush through this process of week 3 to week 7, where actually you are building your foundational base for the PMP exam. In addition, solve the end of chapter questions from your textbook, okay, if you are following one. This reinforces your learning immediately after you have studied a particular topic. However, here is a critical warning, okay? Do not write any full-length mock exams during this phase 2, okay? I repeat, do not touch mock simulators until week 7 or week 8, because attempting mocks without a complete knowledge base is counterproductive and will severely demoralize you, okay? Focus on building your theoretical foundation during these 5 to 6 weeks. On an average, if you dedicate 2 to 3 hours on the weekdays and 6 to 7 hours on the weekends, 5 weeks is sufficient to complete the entire syllabus of the PMP exam systematically. So stay disciplined, take your time, and focus on building a solid foundation first. Now let's move on to phase 3, week 8 to week 10. And this phase focuses on strategic mock analysis. This is where most PMP aspirants completely miss the point, okay? They think writing 10, 12 or 15 mock exams will guarantee success. Now this is far from the truth. And here is the reality. It's far more important to analyze your mocks thoroughly than to write more of them, okay? I have seen candidates who wrote just 4 to 5 quality mocks, okay, and that's it. However, they passed the exam with flying colors. And on the other side of the spectrum, I know about other candidates who wrote about 15 or 20 mocks and they still failed. Now the difference, it is the quality of analysis after each mock exam. So for every 4-hour mock exam roughly which you write whilst you are preparing, you should spend at least 8 to 12 hours analyzing it, okay? That means reviewing every single question, not just the ones you have got wrong, okay? So you need to understand why the correct answer is correct, and more importantly, why the other 3 or 4 options are incorrect. This is where your real learning happens, okay? So during these 3 weeks, I would recommend that write only 4 or 5 high quality full-length mock exams, okay? Start with a diagnostic test during week 8 to identify your baseline. Then you write 4 to 5 full-length 180 question timed mocks over the next couple of weeks. After each mock, create detailed error logs, okay? Document which are the domains where you need improvement, what type of questions you are getting incorrect again and again, and what are the concepts that needs reinforcement from a syllabus standpoint. Now, a shameless plug here as well. If you are looking for a quality mock simulator that accurately reflects the current exam pattern, check out my PMP exam mock simulator on Udemy. It includes situational questions on agile, hybrid, and predictive methodologies with detailed explanations for each answer. The simulator has helped thousands of students to identify their weak areas and pass the exam on their first attempt. The reviews speak for themselves, and you will find the link in the description section of this video. Alternatively, you can check out PMI's study hall as well as a resource to practice mock questions for your PMP exam. So remember that when it comes to mock exam, less is more, okay? So 4 or 5 well-analyzed mock exams beat 15 or 20 poorly reviewed mock exams, okay, whilst you are preparing. So always focus on quality and not quantity. Finally, let's move on to phase 4. This will be the final weeks of your PMP exam preparation, guys. Ideally week 11 to week 12, culminating to the day of your exam. So here are the steps you need to complete during this final phase of your exam preparation. So number 1, revisit and revise your summary notes at least 3 to 4 times during this phase. Remember why I told you that you need to prepare summary notes with great care during the phase 2 of your exam preparation, because this is where all your study and all your learnings are consolidated, okay? So make sure you revise your summary notes well during this phase of the exam preparation. Next, revise your error logs again and again, okay? It's very important that you know your weak areas, your blind spots, okay? And you do not commit the same mistakes repeatedly. Check your exam day logistics. Everything will literally go down the drain if you do not plan your exam day logistics well, okay? So make sure you manage this part of your exam with clinical precision. And finally, it's your day, guys, okay? So you go, you see, and you conquer. So that's it, guys. This is how your full 10 to 12 weeks of PMP exam preparation should look like, okay? As I mentioned earlier, a customizable template for you is available in the description section of this video. So do not think of writing the PMP exam as a race, okay? Where you need to get it done within 1 or 2 weeks, okay? Because that might get you the certification, no doubt about it, but it will definitely take off the entire learning process out of the certification. So prepare for the certification with the right spirit. I hope you liked the video, guys. If you did, please press the like button, and I'll see you again in my next video.